Hello, I'm Ali Khan, Industry Cloud Leader at PwC, and I'll be your host. Today we have here with me Jim Quick, who's our Insurance Leader for Consulting, and Imran Ilyas, who is our Cloud and Digital Leader for Insurance. Welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you, Ali.
The first question that I have is for you, Jim. Let's start with the general rubric first. What are the major trends that you see within the insurance industry as it relates to cloud?
Yeah, it's a great question. We're in a fascinating time for insurance. It's fast-paced, it's moving, it's competitive. Lots of different trends are impacting the insurance industry. Obviously, we have the banking crisis and some of the trickle-down effects that are coming from that, but primarily the insurance industry is moving fast. Looking for product speed to market, looking for agility. We have ecosystems finding its way into the mix and partnerships and ways that the insurance carrier markets are actually interacting with the outside world on all sorts of fronts. We have embedded insurance. We have advanced analytics. And of course, you can't have a conversation like this without generative AI impacting the world. So insurance, the way that I look at it, it's very different between personal lines, commercial lines, life insurance, annuities, group benefits, you name it. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about that, but it's fast-paced. It's competitive, and the cloud is really causing more advancement and pace to that competitiveness in the industry.
Thanks, Jim. So it's not just moving insurance to the cloud, which is kind of a bottoms-up activity, but it's really reinventing the whole business model. So do you have a perspective, Imran, on how the PwC Industry Cloud, particularly for insurance, is enabling that business model reinvention?
Yes, I would say PwC Insurance Cloud has a pre-built Cloud 2.0 tech stack in it, where we are connecting front office, middle office, and back office capabilities within the insurance value chain together. The way we are doing it is we are actually integrating with major core system vendors, connecting them with CSPs, ERPs, and leading insurance tech vendors. We are bringing all together, stitching together using the API-based framework. This is helping our clients with speed to market and agility by introducing new products, launching new customer personas and experience by using API-based headless architecture. For example, if you want to launch a new E&S product set, you can launch with using PwC cloud architecture and a cloud platform in relatively 4 to 6 months, which is pretty good because then you can actually achieve, as Jim articulated, the speed to market, but then also reduce your cost curve. So that's where we are seeing some of the examples. I know, Jim, you were looking at some of the life and annuity space where we are seeing the cloud as an enabler to speed to market perspective.
Yeah, if you think about business model reinvention, there's been an explosion of reimagined experiences for different stakeholders that carriers interact with. So take group benefits, for example. They're just thinking about their broker communities, their partner communities, their employer communities. They're thinking about them differently. And so where the sector cloud really comes into play is the experiences connected quickly via APIs and all the technology that we're building into core systems and alliances that we have. And then really on the backside, all of the data and analytics is pre-wired into these kind of core systems. And so all of the pieces are a big jigsaw puzzle that are interconnected with one another.
This is brilliant. I'm gonna double click a little bit on the business model reinvention theme, because that's kind of the forte of PwC in terms of what we do from an industry perspective, and what the PwC offering is with regards to industry cloud for insurance. Can you expound a little bit more on that? And what's our differentiation, so to speak? We see industry cloud plenty in the market, right? There's a lot of different parties that talk about industry cloud. We have a unique proposition in the market. Can you guys talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I would say the main differentiation PwC Insurance Cloud is providing is we have built the cloud for business reinvention and to handle insurance 2.0 capabilities. So as Jim articulated, embedded insurance, IoT integration, supporting customer experiences are key already built into our tech stack. And we've also built on Cloud 2.0 tech stack. So that means leveraging microservices. Most insurers are operating in a hybrid model with complex combination of on-prem and cloud-based applications. So the PwC Insurance Cloud provides a pathway to consolidate all your resource into a common set of cloud-based technologies supported by PwC Cloud Intelligence API framework. So it provides a seamless integration of your core systems, your ERP systems, and connect the InsurTech platforms to enable insurers to enable cloud transformation versus just doing a move from an app to the cloud or data to the cloud. It is enabling you for the cloud transformation.
That brings up a really good point. There's a common set of functions that need to be solved for across the board before you can build anything accretive from a last mile customer perspective. There's a tremendous amount of engineering that goes on cloud. There's a tremendous amount of frameworks that have to be built in order for the first functional body of work that is accretive to an end customer can be written. Jim, could you talk a little bit about, in relation to our PwC strategy, what's the competitive advantage that provides to our customers, in your view, in terms of what you see in the market?
Well, one of the unique differentiators that we have is we have been helping some very large carriers and some brand new startups kind of get into different businesses. And often they don't know where to start in any of the foundational elements. And so having the sector clouds to start with brings all of the componentry of the infrastructure, the security, the risk and compliance, all of those things already to bear so that we can work with our clients to really differentiate on what matters, which is the business model, it's the operating model, and then it's where does the technology fit, is who do they do business with, who are the customers and stakeholders that they're building experiences for. Digital is table stakes these days. You have to have really innovative and kind of high-end experiences, self-service, interconnectivity with partners. You have to have all that. So the common cloud services that we're bringing to the table really just exponentially catapults our clients into kind of what matters to their customers and their businesses.
Thank you. I want to take you guys in a little bit of a different direction now. It's a big focus in the insurance industry, which is around data and data management. What is your perspective collectively in terms of the data management ecosystem that you see within insurance, and how the PwC Industry Cloud is addressing some of the challenges for our clients over there?
I would say that the way to think about it is in our insurance industry cloud has pre-built extract already built in from core systems, CRM, ERP, and then what we are doing is we're extracting the data into the common cloud solutions. Once the data is there, we have also built insights from a best practices perspective already. So what you're actually getting from leveraging the PwC cloud is a pre-built assets as it relates to data, and then insights pre-built for the entire value chain of insurance, from sales and marketing to product to servicing, you name it, it's already pre-built.
Well, we've always thought about data from the outside in, and we've always, in insurance, we built a data model that can be used for any unlimited business purpose of any kind. So we have a personalized data model, we have an actuarial data model, we have commercial lines, we have life, and so forth. And so we built these data models, and then we've wired them to the most common applications that are out there in the marketplace with our partners. Those could be ERP systems, CRM systems, policy admin systems, claim systems, you name it. So then it just allows any kind of interconnectivity. So things, again, it kind of goes to my analogy of the jigsaw puzzle. A differentiator for us is that we can plug and play the applications and platforms and partners that our clients and their customers are actually desiring. And so a real life example is data exchange. Very common. People want to interact on the outside world for enrollment for products like that and things like that. You take upload, download, those types of things. When you already have the pre-wiring of the applications and platforms to the data models, those things can be done in days instead of years and months.
It's a connected topic around, that everybody's talking about these days, which is generative AI, to the extent that, the conversations that you guys are having with your clients and what you see what PwC is doing. Can you provide a perspective on what PwC is doing with regards to our insurance industry cloud and our groundbreaking within the generative AI space?
Yeah, I can start, Jim, and you can chime in. From an insurance perspective, we think the Cloud 2.0 platform is the prerequisite for the Gen AI. So it's our favorite topic we talked about a lot. There are two use cases we have pre-built on the cloud ecosystem already. So one is more in the category of how we actually improve operations for insurance as it relates to underwriting, claims, rating, policy submission, automation, you name it. The second category, which is more interesting to us, is also the efficiency within the IT build process. So example would be if you're building a big IT program, how can you enable automation of the user stories? How can you enable automation of the test cases, the code generation and validation of the code? So there is a lot in terms of speed to market element to it. For claims processing use case, we are leveraging Gen AI to handle and process an extensive amount of claims, which is helping us identify fraud and from the claims perspective. So a lot of development already going. I know, Jim, you were working on a use case of how to take the intake process and then automation perspective.
One use case specifically is really some of the quoting that's out there, right? Whether it's commercial lines, whether it's group benefits, there's a lot of similarities. It's very complicated. You get a lot of convoluted things from distributors. And so with some of the Gen AI and the ability to ingest all of that and synthesize it and make it into some kind of structured data, even get it to the point where it's actually able to actually code API calls into core systems for generation of quotes, distribution of those quotes, decision support tools, and you name it. And on the claims front, there's a whole new frontier that's going on with the regulatory changes. So we've had a lot of changes with LDTI, and now we're having a lot of changes with paid family leave laws. And so just the ability to leverage that technology stack into our sector cloud to synthesize and analyze the wealth of information that is public in some fashions, combined with some of our clients' private data, how can you use that to the advantage for speed? And we're starting to see some of our project environments back to that. We're starting to see some cycles that used to take 6 months actually down to less than 5 days.
And then the framework we have built on responsible AI and compliance is already pre-built. So you are actually looking at that piece. I think, Jim, one of the things we talked about was, and I think Ali, we talked about the cloud 1.0 and 2.0. So if you look at the insurance industry, there are about 500 to 700 insurance carriers who are going to move from cloud 1.0 to cloud 2.0 over the next 2 to 3 years. As they're moving, they have a choice to build everything from scratch on their own, and it's going to cost them a lot of money. Or they can pick something like PwC Insurance Cloud, which is already pre-built for 2.0. All the key pieces are integrated, and the reference architecture and blueprint is built. So they have something already ready, turnkey operations, which they can connect all their key application vendors in it. So we feel there is a tremendous amount of opportunities for all the insurance carriers to kind of take advantage of this platform where all the key integration pieces are pre-built, but the Gen AI is already enabled in that environment. So there's an opportunity right there for insurers to kind of look at Insurance Industry Cloud as an enabler for their future.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Imran. That's a seminal point that you made. So a lot of the work that is being done up to date today within the generative AI space has been around general purpose models, right? They're not trained for a particular industry, so to speak. And there actually will be a need for industry-specific models, right? Models for financial services that understand the nomenclature, the terminology, the nuance of financial services. Do you collectively have a perspective on how you see that evolution of the general purpose models coming into insurance and becoming insurance-specific to solve specific use cases?
It's a good question. I think it's inevitable. I think the general purpose models, they're pretty smart as they're already conceived today. You can work with it to ask very specific insurance questions, and it's pretty intelligent on how it's actually able to do it. So I think it's inevitable that we start focusing and actually tweaking it to be much more explicitly focused on the nuance and the complexity of insurance, whether it's deep actuarial tables and underwriting models and all those kinds of things, and the visual aspects of adjudication of claims and whatnot. You can come up with dozens of examples. I think it's inevitable. That would be my response to your question.
I'm glad you brought up that point around going from a general purpose model framework, which we have today because the industry is at its inception in relation to generative AI, and then becoming very industry specific and even sub-industry or subsector specific. The question is going to be, how do you train these models and what data do you train these models? So ultimately it comes down to some of the traditional aspects of data governance we talked about. But this has been a riveting conversation. Thank you once again, both of you. I learned a ton of things that I did not know. I'm sure our audience has learned a lot of new things as well. And thank you for joining us and spending your time and giving us your knowledge. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And to our viewers, thank you for joining us for the discussion. This is one in the series of video blogs on Industry Cloud, and we encourage you to tune in for the series. For more information on these topics, please visit pwc.com/us/industrycloud.